Hello and welcome. As today's date is that of Thursday, the 26th day of November 2020. It is United States Thanksgiving. My name is Derek, and this is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and the like within each his own risk and their own reward. And lots to go over within this video, as the cryptocurrency is having a decent size retracement today. I'm going to go over that as well. I'm going to be going over exchanges, and what you own is what you hold, as unfortunately right now I am unable to have access to some of my cryptocurrencies on a very large exchange. And I'm going to go over that, and I'm relatively confident but not extremely confident, which is not happy, that I'm going to, well, things will be all right. Quickly, that is, so quickly this week. All right, so we'll go over that, as well as even that just as a gambling, risk-reward management. I'm going to go over that at the very end. So that will be it. So Bitcoin on multiple time frames, and this is, again, this thing has had a very sized, decent retracement. Here we have a high on the 8 a.m. stamp yesterday morning. So that would be 25 hours ago. The high was 19,490. Currently 16,700. And 96 or 16,800. So there we've seen the price drop about $3,000. That's about 15-ish or so percent. And well, 3,000 is going to be like, it's becoming smaller time numbers now that we've had these larger size gains. So on looking at this on multiple term time frames, we have a situation where yada yada. When you break down below this, you're like, oh my goodness, we're going to lose 10%. Maybe, and maybe more, maybe less. It's not less, of course. So you find a little bit of original support, first correctionary move. Next one, new leg lower, and come up to the 18, and now we see how it's leaving it. So right now, the sellers on the short term are most certainly in an aggressive mode right now. On the 4-hour term time frame, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive red candles in a row. And right now, that means every time the buyers have came in, the sellers have just really just pushed them back. And throughout a lot of this run, every time we've had moves like this, and this one is like this, of course, the buyers have done very well in regaining that. So that's something I'm going to be very curious to see as we move further, because now we're having our very first test of the 18 average of lows since this thing even got going back in October, breaking around the barely above 10,000. So it's almost, since it's had like almost a 2x move. The support has been very little, and just at that of the 18 average of highs. Yes, exactly. So the first one of support in here, successful, and then a little bit of support in here, many days, but a decent size sell-off in here. The percent move 4.87%, but it comes down only to the 18 average of highs again in here, and now we'll see if it's able to hold and stay above it. And whenever I see something like this, it's such a huge rally. I know the longer term time frames are the more essential holder needs. As far as any type of retracement, if it's not going to hold this area, yeah, we very easily could have this. I've been talking about this where I think this would be weak resistance. We'll see if that's correct. This is still nothing of a move when we look at such moving on the weekly and the monthly time frame, which we'll be doing so very shortly. Now it's shortly, so here's the weekly chart. Well above the 18 average. So yeah, this would be a good one to use, because as it goes, market analysis from here was lower, had a good leg higher. So what did it do from that leg? Well, correctionary move this entire run. But within that correctionary move, you can pretty much call this an inverted head and shoulders pattern, where you had the left shoulder, the head, and like the right shoulder type area. And then, just an okay break above it. And that's still, it's good. And now it's a statement move. So if you get something like this, now, okay, what do we do here? What do we do? And that, it's either that this is the major comeback move and oh my goodness, we're heading higher, or the ultimate of granddaddy failed breakouts. Either way, ultimate move. I mean, things are going to really pick up to monstrous levels. My bet, because of how I'm playing this, and I'm going to get more to, of course, with risk reward management at the very end, is that it's going to be that of a successful move in Bitcoin. We'll make it to 30, 40, 60, 80,000, whatever. And then whatever after that is after that. But I'll adjust to like, oh my goodness, this is where Bitcoin's at. This is what altcoins are doing. I'm going to move this to that, move that to that, and so on and so forth, of course. I'm not going to be believing the sell-off right now. Yeah, sure, maybe it does lose half its value. And even at that, that's still going to be weak resistance if it's not able to stay much below 13,000. As again, this 18 average is rising. Now, for Fibonacci purposes, there's multiple ways of doing it, but I think the best one would be, I mean, you can say you got the breakout lows in here, because you want to calculate high divided by low. You could take this low in here, around 9,800. Or you know what, even just simple math, like 20,000 divided by 10,000. That might be just the easiest way of doing it. So let's go ahead here and put in 20,000 as the high, 10,000 as the low. That would be 2 when you divide it. 2 to the power of 1.618 multiplied, no, to the power of, what am I? Yeah, no, this, actually I'm looking at all these ones here. So the key numbers right now, the first one is 16,982. So that's just, I mean, that's where we're at. I mean, boom, from the 16.9. So it's at that first general area, if this is going to be in, and it's been, okay, well, it's at its first area. So if this is going to be, and I think it is going to be a relatively accurate fib range, if this doesn't hold, the next key areas we can see come down to 15.4, and then the must hold area for the move is 13,000, because whenever you have a key A to key B or low, key high, key low, if you have the move, when you have the move in the opposite direction, as long as it holds 61.8% and stuff like that, I don't deem that move dead just on that fact alone. So therefore, you can say any retracement, you really want to see it hold around that 13,000 area. And that really does make sense when we look at this from the areas in which we came from. And I guess the weekly is where we want to go on this, because 13,000 is a level of this high. And if it's going to be weak resistance, that's what I would expect on the comeback. One, that maybe all it does is come down to like 13,000 even. It spends very little change in the range between 14,000 even, and whatever lower, like 11,000 or something. Because on the monthly term time frame, this is still part of this exitation of this 18 average of highs after showing 6 periods or 5 and change of strength amongst this. Because from May all the way up into, well, really October, but it was just hanging in there. So all the way up until it broke like 13,000. And in a situation like this, I've been talking about this before. Key low, key high, key low, key high, key low, key high, key low, key high. All right. So then, now this is where things get really, really not so great. As I'm going to be talking about, if you don't own it, hold it. In order to own it, you got to hold it. So you don't hold it, you don't own it. And you can be confident that pretty much, but not quite, 100% of the time, that you do things like have funds to do like somewhere where someone holds your money, any type of bank account type level, exchange. Those they hold your cash. And sure, you can do your trades here and there pretty much all the time, and withdrawals and all that. It's usually going to work. And it always has on Binance up until last Sunday. As it was on that Sunday, where I'm looking at different things like Chainlink and Ethereum on there, where it's so expensive to withdraw. And I noticed when I look at the withdrawal, they give you different setups. Like, well, if you withdraw with the Binance chain things, it's 6 cents and change. Well, that's definitely cheaper than what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to get things under a quarter. But okay, so let me just fool around. Oh my goodness, I wish I didn't. And trying to get this to work. So I'm fooling around on this, and I've probably done hundreds and well over 100 private keys. So I find out where it looks like, okay, well, there it is. I got my private keys. I wrote them down. Okay, it looks like this is how it works. Because BUSD is something, I mean, I'm looking to sell stuff and turn to BUSD, and if I could find a cheap way to put that in the wallet. So I got that key ready. But I also bought some Chainlink, and then I didn't want to send much, but just in case, well, there's a reason for it, of course. So I sent a very, very small amount. I could have sent less. I probably sent like $1 or $2's worth. I probably should have sent like 30 cents or 50 cents worth. But either way, it's not like a couple bucks isn't much anyway or anything really. So I sent that almost nothing. And I don't know how much time goes by, maybe 40 seconds, 30 seconds, and I realized that I sent Chainlink to the BUSD address, which is different with every coin. Alrighty then. This is about the second or third time I've sent. I've once sent coin to the wrong code for an okay amount of stakes, which is like, I don't know, 40, 50 bucks or something way back when. Way back when was 2018. And that was the only time I think so it might be the second time. And I guess when you're playing micro stakes, you don't do the double checks as often, because when I'm doing larger stakes, the double, triple, quad checks, your private keys. Okay, yes, it's the right coin name. Okay, last 4, 5, 6 letters or numbers are all digits are all the same. I do all that type of stuff. The number, I'm just sending the right amount. I do all these extra checking when we're talking more larger stakes. Okay, so that's wrong. So now let's find my TUSD one, or my Chainlink one. I send about a third or a quarter of the amount. I realized then, why did I spend so much? I only have to spend like 30 cents to check it, 40 cents. So that's what I did this time. And then almost instantly, I get like this little thing here saying unusual activity within my withdrawals, and that they have been, that they're disabled right now. But also, furthermore, way back when, and again 2018, I got a cell phone at the time, and it's an iPhone like almost everyone else has, and the Apple ID was just annoying the heck out of me. Now, I didn't want to download any apps anyway. It's only for pretty much all it is for using on a phone, text messaging, and emergency internet. That is it. And the Apple ID was just not working, and I'm just trying to fool around it. Basically, this whole thing just couldn't they wouldn't identify me as weird as it was. So I was like, I don't really care anyway. And then I verified other places like Poloniex and Bittrex, no problem. But they never needed my cell phone in any way. Although it's difficult enough just to get files from there onto a computer, which is what I need to do. But that's another story. And so I was able to get the identification and all those selfies and stuff like that for them. But the whole time, my Binance account, all I had verified is my cell phone through like stuff like that. And so as the years went on, really years, a couple of them, I mean, there's a 2 Bitcoin withdrawal limit. No, there was no reason why I'm never anywhere near close to that. And on Poloniex, they literally just blocked me out one day, said, yeah, by the way, you have to verify us, and you got like a month or whatever it was. You can't do any trading, you can't do anything on the site until you do. And well, I did, and it was literally instant. I mean, literally instant, like a millisecond. Like, I mean, well, not closer to 0 seconds than 0.1 second. That's how fast it was on Pol. I was just like shocked and amazed on this. Like, oh my goodness, that was so fast. And then Bittrex, pretty much the same problem again. They basically took my withdrawal limit to pretty much nothing, and I had funds on there. So in order for me to get rid of them, I had to verify it, which I did. And it was like within a couple minutes or 3 or 5 minutes, it was done. It was great. So this time again, in order to verify on Binance, what you need to do is you need to download the app. Look like there's no other way around it. That's what I realized back in 2018. So I really worked. It came down to Apple ID that, and the reason why I couldn't get in was because I had to answer 2 security questions. Questions like, and exactly that of, what is your dream job? I could have answered 10, 20, 30 different things. And then your favorite sports team, that could have been 3 or 4 or 5 different teams. And and then when it said to reset that, they wouldn't say, oh, we can't do that. Really? Like, what am I supposed to do now? And then all of a sudden, fooling around, I found out a way. And then they asked me one of the questions. It was a different one. I was able to answer it correctly. Then I was able to reset the question. So I wrote down those answers like I do my private keys. Now that is not right, whatever, but I did that. So now I can actually download the whole thing so I can go through the whole recognition. So 2 days ago, it's all about verifying the whole Binance situation, which means you go on there, you have to take a picture of your ID front and back, easy. Your selfie picture, that wasn't too difficult either. And then a really weird thing we have to do on Binance, the final thing, this freaked me out large. This was really weird. A little picture of like a head comes out. Like everything outside of your head is like black and everything inside of it is like complete good color screen. And you have to position your phone so it's at an exact perfect image. And that was very difficult to do. I thought 2 or 3, 4 times I got it right. I didn't. And then I finally did it. And a big message comes in. Oh, you got to blink. And I'm like, that's what it's telling me. It took me about a good 1.5 to 2 seconds to read and understand what the phone was telling me. And I did a couple of the weird things like head shaking and whatnot and trying to understand it. But nothing, that was fine within the system because nothing else stopped. So once I blinked, the phone went really weird. So apparently it worked. And then it said, okay, everything's good to go and all that and everything's in the process. Okay. So I look at my Binance page and it says it's going through its review thing, okay. And, well, as I mentioned, Poloniex was less than 0.1 of a second. Bittrex was about maybe 5, 10, 20 minutes. This was a little over an hour. And I got an email. Everything's been verified. Okay, great. Now, my mistake here is I think everything's back in business and I can do my trades. No, I should have done the just withdrawal test just to see. And I should have, and I didn't. Mistake. And I'm at the stage where for a couple days, I can make any withdrawals on there. So I'm definitely not depositing on that site. And if there's any funds on there, maybe I can make whatever. I still can make trades on there, but I can't do any withdrawals. I'm not going to deposit to make any trades on there. That's just dumb. And of course, that's why I should have checked here. But I thought, again, everything was fine. So I end up needing to make some trades like Dash and Ripple. So I end up depositing both those coins and buy things like Theta and whatnot. And after that's all said and done, first I have to go through a Dash. Wait, I'm used to this. I know what this was like. So I'm like, man, whatever on this. If you deposit Dash on Binance and you want to withdraw after that, you're gonna have to wait. I don't even think it matters what your balance is because way back in the day, I had like 40 times my balance of what I deposited on there. It was like, and they still win them. But anyway, if you deposit Dash, you got to wait for 50 confirmations before you can withdraw anything. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is just, whatever, I'll wait for this delay. So I'm waiting on my thing, 48, 49, then I went over 50. I see 51. Okay, now I'm on there. I'm used to this. Well, I've had this happen 3, 4, 5 times where I've had to wait. So once it gets past 50, I go to withdrawal and everything at first is normal. I do my thing. I put in the public key on the right network, put my amount in, do all my double and triple checking, and it's always worked. At least when I do my double, triple checking, and then I get the text message. I have to do my SMS text message and email code. So this is a game. You got 60 seconds. So I have to put my glasses on because I can't read anything on small screens or books without glasses. So I put my glasses on, get my 6-digit code, put it in, go to my email, copy and paste it in there, and I'm good to go. And everything at first looks fine because you get the old check mark, everything's good. But then about 2 seconds later, waiting approval thing comes up. Waiting approval? Okay. And I know, and I've read before, if you do something like change your text message thing and take it off, there's like a 24-hour wait. Okay, maybe there's something like that going on. And I try it again with a different coin. First, I try to withdraw LITECOIN because actually, this is what's like makes it again like not so. This, of course, this is bad luck because I was planning yesterday to withdraw, or was it the day before? Day before. I was planning on withdrawing some LITECOIN so that I could buy some stuff, just like real goods. Of course, now price is lower and that didn't happen. So first I tried to withdraw LITECOIN, then Theta. It didn't matter. But the second time, I did it. I noticed it said it was rejected on the first one. So I canceled it again. And then all of a sudden, when I do withdrawals, a message just pops up saying that it's a security risk and that your withdrawals are temporarily, that's a key word, temporarily disabled. Well, so the gold standard's been temporarily disabled too since before I was born too. But anyway, originally way back when this first happened, when I noticed I tried to do those two things, I sent a support ticket in stating about the phone. Do you have any tips? How do I work this whole phone thing? Because I tried this back in 2018 and all this thing. And then it said on there, apparently, they gave me suggestions. I'll go to this, this, and this. So I'm thinking, did they even read it? Do I have to it said, if this is a real, whatever issue, please give us screenshots. And I didn't give them any screenshots. Of course, because I figured it out, I'm like, well, if it disabled this, I'm fine with that issue because I got the ID thing to work. I'm verified for that. So I sent another ticket in yesterday, about 22 hours ago as I'm doing this video, maybe 21, and letting them know what's going on. And I did send a screen image too. But I finally got an email last night from the last one, the one I did days ago, stating that it's a long process. Make sure again to reply back if there's any problem. So this tells me that it's going to be like a 3, 4, 5, 6 day if it's going to be any problematic thing. I mean, I got to think over time it's going to work. I got so many different means that you guys got to figure that they're going to see it. Okay, push whatever buttons there is, and I'm back. I can withdraw again, and things will be fine. And of course, if that's not the case, I mean, what do I have to do? This is not going to be fun. I can post a whole bunch of different videos, go through different things, show my screenshots, different stuff. Don't want to do that, but I could. I don't think that's going to help too much. I don't get too many views. I could go on Twitter and just start posting things on there and set that thing up. And of course, the worst part, especially if what I got on there, and I got a little bit on there, definitely closer to 0 than 10% of my portfolio, but well north than 1. How about that? Maybe 2% of my portfolio. And some of that were the free coins, because this is what makes it very interesting too. Because you had the Bitcoin Cash free money. You put your Bitcoin Cash on the exchange, and then we're going to have the fork, and whatever amount of that will give you free BCHA as it was. Okay, well, what's going to happen is the wallets are going to go offline, and for an okay amount of time too, and it was. But thankfully the day before, or hours, many hours before, but yeah, I'll say the day before, I withdrew a very large sum of Bitcoin Cash. So that wasn't on there. So for a decent amount of time, there was Bitcoin Cash is what percentage of my cryptos? Let me just put that in my head right now. It's a lot. It's a very high percentage of it. 18%, maybe 17%. And it's number 1. It's my largest of everything. So I have no cryptocurrency worth more than 20% of everything. I mean, that's because I got money everywhere. It's like a way I like to put it. In all forms. I got my silver in so many different places, cash in so many different places, fiat, cryptos in so many different places. It's just how I like to do it. But I was thankfully enough lucky to get that off. So what did I have on there? Well, I had all my BCHA, which has all been sold. It's been turned into what's now been LITECOIN because I wanted to use it to buy things. And I got the Venus coin project that I'm playing with on there. A couple other trades. I made 2 deposits, and which is now Theta. And I think I had a little bit of something on there, like a little bit of GRS and all this. And then and what's even interesting too is making trades over the last few days. And that of okay, I need to buy Theta. And technically speaking, I mean, I can go on Huobi. And technically, I reset its password yesterday. So I had a 24-hour lock on that to withdraw. So in about 3 or 4 hours from now, I'll be able to withdraw on Huobi. But anyway, I'd be like, okay, well, this is what I need to do. I need to buy Theta, but I need to sell maybe PivX. But I'm not going to deposit PivX on Binance. Well, why don't I deposit PivX on something considering I've been wanting to turn funds into coins, this works out well. I'm going to go into Bittrex. I'll deposit PivX there. Then I'll sell it there. And GRS, stuff like that. It might have been one of those ones. And then I'll sell it there. And then what I'll do is I'll take that exact same amount of Bitcoin that I'm going to get on Bittrex, and I'll use that amount of Bitcoin and buy the amount of funds on Binance. I got a lot of extra funds here because I sold my BUSD. I got so many extra funds on Binance, so I can just flip back and forth here and there, that I can do that really easy. And it was easy. So that's what I did. And then I wanted to add into Tezos, and I bought Tezos on Bittrex. So stuff like that worked out, where I was buying on one exchange, which was buying on Binance Theta, and selling on what was on Bittrex. But as this goes on, as I move forward, I'm going to be in a situation of, where do I go from here? Worst case scenario, I'm going to lose what's on Binance, and that's just going to suck. And that's going to be, that happened with Cryptopia a couple years back, and it's not going to, that's just part of the life of being a gambler, taking a very decent, noticeable, but not that big hit. So again, well under 2% of just a crypto portfolio, let alone, of course, the portfolio of other things like silver, which is my largest of anything, is silver by far. But with that being said, I'm off a little bit off a train of thought, but not really. I decided, what do I do as far as my funds from here? Do I actually just maybe, because I had set where I trade everything on Binance, every pair that I had, ever since they put DGB on there. Well, now I got everything on Binance once I put DGB on there. But a lot of these other things I can trade somewhere else. So HBAR and say Bitcoin Cash, I can do that on Bittrex. Oh, a couple days ago, yesterday, whatever, I went, okay, I got a Bitcoin Cash and LITECOIN transfer I need to make. Okay, let's take some Bitcoin Cash, deposit it on Poloniex. And I made 2 deposits. I did a 0.01 to start. Okay, that worked. Let's do a higher Bitcoin Cash deposit now. And then I bought my Theta. Then I withdrew it. All good. With my LITECOIN. My Theta's in my wallet. All great. That's what I should be doing the whole time. But I've always had that fear. Is there ever going to be a time where everything's fine? I'm just going to make my deposit. And then I'm going to have to withdraw again. So is there going to be something going to screw up on the process of me making my deposit, making my trade, then making my withdrawal? I've always had fears like that. And you can see why it's even going to be amplified more after making those 2 wacky little cheap, unusual, and I've never done things like that, unsuspecting, whatever, but very cheap withdrawals before. So if I do something weird like that, I'm going to be really, really, you guys don't know now. So what it could mean, of course, is that I continued trading within multiple exchanges like that. But I mean, Binance is going to really have to, they're going to have to really show to me that, because I've heard on thing, they're really big on customer service. Well, I'm going to see if they really mean it now, because if all they do is just say, yep, you're back to withdrawal, well, who knows? I might just barely use them and just use a whole bunch of other exchanges evenly, or just rather use this and that, or use Binance if it's the best case or scenario to do stuff like that. I mean, I definitely probably finished off the Venus trade and that, because I'm I found out how I can hold my Venus coins on hardware wallets, but I have to do it with a cell phone this way. And I don't mind using a cell phone within private keys, but I want to make sure that I can use a regular PC as well, and that all my keys are written down on pieces of paper, as I like to do. So that's basically the gist of it. Do I do a little bit of less selling? Things like PivX and Grosstal Coin is the gamble coins for me. They're the ones that this move higher, it's sell and get out. Even Ripple, same thing too, sell and get out. And that was the play the whole time. Coins like Bitcoin Cash, LITECOIN, Theta, Tezos, Bitcoin regular. These are all the ones that I want to hold for the long term, trade back and forth with each other as well. Hadara is the one I'm going to want to hold long term as well for that, just in case. It's that whole new thing that was talked about in the Hidden Secrets of Money episode. So I'm playing that long term as well, even more long term than Bitcoin. In fact, Bitcoin is the one I trust the least of all those big ones that I liked. Even though it's my third largest holding, I think. It's so tied. So many are so close. I could never. Probably second now, because Litecoin probably dipped below Bitcoin. But anyway, with that being stated, and yeah, Theta is lower than that now too. But it's all about getting out of those and just play the basic ones. And I'm still going to be flipping the coins, and it's just so easy to do. It's going to take me a lot not to do it. This whole ratio trading, I just admire doing so much. But as far as my life is concerned, I've always been in the life of a gambler. I can remember back in 1997. I don't have home internet access at this time. I'm very soon. I'm weeks and weeks away from doing it. This venture here is what enabled me to afford to do it at the time. Especially with internet was only $30 a month back then. But anyway, I was buying what they call the pro lines in on gambling. This was our legalized gambling here in Ontario, Canada. And I found a way of doing it. What I usually did, you had to do at least 3 games. So I'd take usually a decent size underdog, a game to end in a tie, and an okay size favorite, it seemed, in every single game. And I was winning these parlays way more than the law of average was stating. And I need to because of the heavy vig on those things. But I was winning pretty good. So I was getting to the point where I was doing this every single day. Classmates of mine at my college were just amazed about what I was doing and how I was cashing every single day. It was pretty cool. That was the most amazement part of and one of my professors too was wow, this is just unbelievable. So March of 1997, I get the internet for the first time. And January of 97 is when this venture started. So therefore, when the new and then playoffs, it was just not as good. And I was kind of wondering, man, this might not be as easy. I could see where a lot of especially the ties, because ties were done in the playoffs. This might not be as easy, and it wasn't. Regular season, now that I'm on the internet, I'm learning this whole new way of gambling, like the plus 140s, minus a half a goal, minus a goal. Back then, minus a half a goal and minus 1 goal meant a lot in hockey. And they still kind of do today. But the whole way, I'm learning how Vegas odds betting works, other than a brief interlude with a bookie back in 1994 when I was 18. And so anyway, I'm moving on and learning all this stuff. And I'm posting these pics and everything. And where am I posting on social media in October when the hockey season starts in 1997? News groups, of course. Telnet, I think it was called. I wasn't doing so well. And even my 1998 season, 97-98 season wasn't as good as it was before. I had a couple small wins, but nothing too fantastic. I had a very good win at the end of the 1998 season. And that was the first and only time I ever went to Bloor & Young to cash in a ticket on the Ontario Lottery Corporation. But then I didn't really do too much betting on there. And when I did, it's always been betting $5 to win 5-6 figures. And I've never won that. I try every week. I'll be trying this Sunday, but it's something I do for fun. Anyway, I say anyway like that a lot, but let's get away from that. I go into it learning the whole gambling thing, and then you learn about sports books, things like that. You have a couple good runs, but a couple bad runs too. And yeah, I lost, but I've had overall from because my first deposit was the summer of 2000, and then I won free rolls here, got on this sports book there, figured out that sports book there, so on and so forth, and then poker came along, and I figured out, I could probably win that game. I did, and then 2007 was an interesting year because that was a spiritual wake-up moment as well as an awakening as far as the way the system is on all the things that I talk about, fiat currencies, how things are so much different than how I perceive them to be. And then that made an interesting 2008-2009 cycle. And then the whole spiritual part and me not really caring about gambling for much at all. And although I never did shut it out, but I never really got into it too much for a long time, and it would slowly come back into me. played a little bit of poker, but to be honest, a lot of the interesting, again, up and down sessions, and I just never found it fun. It was like I just didn't want to play. And even when I did, I had the most. I could talk about bad beat stories. No one likes to hear them, and I don't even like to talk about them. And I even did mathematical, statistical evidence to show, oh my goodness, yeah, I'm right. I've been the only way I could mathematically figure out I could take all my sample size of hands to prove I was unlucky actually kind of worked. I can explain that formula if anyone's interested later on, how you can prove luck factor. But if not, I'm not going to give you the formula. But things like fantasy came in. And I did well on that too, off and on, but nothing fantastic at all. I had a decent sized run in 2016, I think it was. 2015, 2016, or 2015. But at the same point, I noticed the football season, things were getting really weird as far as ownership and different stuff. That it was very, very, well, just like the whole Binance and how like not fun for you to do. I just not liking it. My mistake was to look at the change of what was going back on then and try to take advantage of it. Understand the change on the metagame, but whatever on that. And a lot of that is because I'm just not getting. I just don't want to make any wages. But at this point where I kind of need to get some funds here soon. I mean, I left enough cash on the table, if you will, but so cryptos came at the right time. Let's put it that way. So that's where the gambling came on. Like, okay, so I'm working on that. Okay, this is how my playing is. I've been doing that from 2017, 2018, 2019, and again, building up another good bankroll because of how just life of a gambler. But then hockey season came. October 2019, I had an idea in my head. Hey, if I do this and I get this exact kind of game, then how do I lose? Well, that exact kind of game is a rare one, so of course you're not going to lose. But I didn't think there was other games that exact system, of course, amplified a little bit further to be more precise on things, would work out. So now I realize that I'm playing the game that I wanted to, and I'm winning at it. And I'm going to keep doing that. I'm in hockey off-season mode now. It's November the 26th. And I got decent-sized stakes for football today. It's 10:17 a.m. as I'm doing this. 37 minutes. I'm almost done. I'm on the plan to finish this off here, though. So I've dominated the games, and I'm doing well in other games, too. In fact, soccer, I'm really doing... this is getting fun on soccer. My mistake on soccer is the fact, man, I'm not betting enough. And even when I'm betting $40, $50, $60 on a soccer game, I still feel I'm not betting enough. And I can play soccer almost every day, but it's all about line. I mean, I can win in almost every hockey game. Soccer game, it's game specific. I check the over-under. I check the chances of both teams scoring. I check the chances of individual scores on the Vegas line, and I got her nailed down pat. That's so easy. Some games are good, some games are bad. There's one soccer game today I'm playing, and I love tomorrow's EPL soccer game, and I've got good stakes on it. Actually, I don't. I got like $50 on it, $40. So I don't got great stakes on it. But that's the whole point of trying to build the risk-reward management and in hockey playoffs, I made, well, I'd say an average year's income in 2 months in the playoffs. And then I did okay in the regular season. I won more in the playoffs in the regular year. But and by design, it's supposed to be more profitable, and therefore I can go back. Hockey season will come in. I'll play that. I'll try to dominate as much as I can. If I feel like I can just make my normal income there, I got a large silver holding back. I got a large crypto holding back, and I can just keep on trading it back and forth. But really being less enthusiastic about the whole trading situation. If I have situations like I mentioned within the playing of the I thought in my head where crypto game of me losing, really you can say not from the game. I mean, I know what it's like to lose. I laugh losses off, you know, but losing when you not bet. Because within DraftKings, oh man, I could talk about how they took $20 from me, and I don't even know how they understand. In fact, I don't even think there's a human on Binance that understands that my account is frozen for withdrawals or whatever. That's how it is. All computer set up that way. But anyway, as far as me losing on poker, I've always been paid. And the only time that I've ever lost in poker that way, this is why I had this stall of thought, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to talk about the story, is 100 US dollars. I was in Niagara Falls, and I bought first I was in Toronto, and I bought $500 worth of US dollars in Toronto, because I knew I was going to go to Niagara Falls, US. And I went to Niagara Falls, US, played some poker there, and I left with like 400 and like, or 380, 420, in that area, a little under, because I can't remember. It was close to what I started with, because I won in the cash game and then I lost the tournament. That's what happened. And I think the cash game's winnings were less than the tournament. But anyway, the tournament was like a couple $100 maybe, 150, I don't know. And then I bought some food too. But I left. Then I go to Niagara Falls, Canada, and that US dollars just stayed in my pocket, and I'm back to Canadian dollars that I'm using. And those United States dollars come home with me. And then I'm in a bar in my hometown, and I notice, hey, where's that $100 that I had? And oh my goodness, don't tell me I lost at the bar. Yeah, that's the only place it can be. I lost it there. There's no way I'm getting it back. So that's the only time I ever lost playing poker. So I guess that doesn't count. And I'm making this video way too long. So just be careful within these funds. If you're making a withdrawal on Binance and something happens, maybe like wait a minute or two or three before doing anything else, I guess. Be very careful with the BSB smart chains. I don't even want to touch those things anymore. I mean, it's almost like you're scared to in that sense. As long as I have, well, I mean, I'll do it if I have like maybe $5 or $20 in my Binance account. And then if I unlock, and then if I have like nothing on there, it's screwed. Okay, whatever, I don't care. Thank you for tuning in so basically I'm just going to work within the whole DraftKings thing, and it's been very successful so far, and it's fun because today's a gambling day, but it's fun gambling because I don't care if I lose, and I'd be very ecstatic if I won. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.